So on to the next demo, which is by me. I made Steelhead, which is a fish that we have here in the Pacific Northwest, with a lemon pesto mayo, and I hope that you enjoy it.
Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea Cole. I am the food blogger behind A Duck's Oven. Come hang out with me on Instagram. You can find me at A Duck's Oven. I am so excited to be participating in the Regional Cuisine Showcase. I am from Oregon. I've lived in Oregon my entire life, still live here to this day. I live in Portland now. And one of my favorite things about living in Oregon is the seafood. I was lucky enough to grow up as the daughter of an excellent hunter and fisherman. And today, my father, brother, and husband all fish. So usually I'm in great supply of fresh seafood. That hasn't been the case as much lately due to some projects that have been happening over the last year. And yes, I feel quite a bit of resentment, but you know what? It is what it is. And hey, in their defense, the runs this past year haven't been all that great, but we're still gonna make some awesome seafood today. So you probably think the obvious choice for the seafood I would pick from the Pacific Northwest and what you're looking at is salmon. You would be wrong. This is steelhead. Steelhead are actually trout that, like salmon, migrate to the ocean each year and then migrate back to spawn. So the reason they have this color as opposed to the color you're typically used to seeing on a trout is because they're eating the same diet as salmon. So salmon have that distinctive pink color because of crustaceans that they eat in the ocean. So steelhead are awesome because they taste like a cross between a salmon and a trout. So both salmon and trout have a pretty mild flavor, but I do think that salmon has a pretty distinct flavor. So you get some of that trouty mildness with some of that special salmon flavor, and either way it results in this really gorgeous, flaky, fatty fish. I like to prepare excellent seafood like this just really, really simply. I don't want to overpower the excellent flavor of the fish itself, so I'm just looking to enhance it. So what we're going to do today is season it really lightly, sous vide it, and then we are going to make a pesto lemon mayo and broil it to finish it off. Growing up, my dad would come home from fishing, fillet the fish in front of me, dip it in some soy sauce, and pop raw fish directly in my mouth. So I am used to eating fish very rare. I like it very rare. I will eat it raw if I'm familiar with the source of the fish and how it's been handled. But so today we're cooking it pretty rare. So I'm doing 119 degrees and I'm just gonna cook it for about 30 minutes since we are going to finish it off on the broiler. If I wasn't, I'd probably go closer to 45. Okay, let's make some steelhead, shall we? So I am going to just season really, really simply with salt and pepper. Like I said, I'm keeping the actual seasoning for the sous vide really simple. That's been something I've been doing a lot more lately, is relying on the sauce or whatever I do with however I finish it to make it more interesting, but actually sous videing it in a really simple way. That's probably because it plays into the new cookbook that I'm working on, which will be out this summer. But yeah, I think it gives me a lot more flexibility with how I actually end up finishing it. So just doing salt and pepper for this step. And then I'm using a handheld vac and seal today. And so I prefer to use either handheld or just a straight up Ziploc bag with seafood because it's such a delicate protein and I don't want to squish it with a vacuum sealer. I mean, I don't always do that. But if I have I'm going to say not laziness, that's what I've been doing lately. I always feel like the tricky part of reusable bags is sealing them super, super tight. Got that done. So yeah, I like this because I can control how sealed I get it. So it's not all squishy and terrible. So got that ready. Gonna add it to the water bath for 30 minutes. My little trick, which I'm sure that many of you do this too, is to keep the seal above water. I use a chip clip. It works for me. I really want the magnets that Jason used in his demo last time though, and I need to find them, the silicone magnets. I don't know if anybody else saw those. Okay, so while the steelhead is cooking in here, I'm gonna preheat my broiler and then make that mayo. Okay, so starting with a mayo base, I am using Duke's mayo. You can use whatever mayo you like. I just really like Duke's. So I've got about a quarter cup of mayo in this bowl and about a tablespoon of pesto is going to get added here. You could also add bonus shredded parm if you wanted to. I, again, am just trying to keep this really, really simple, but it would be delicious. Then I'm probably only gonna do about a half a lemon for this amount, but I'll give it a taste and adjust as necessary. Yeah, I think this is gonna be plenty. This is actually even a little bit watery for me, so might add some more mayo, which unfortunately I used all my Dukes for this, so I'm gonna have to use an inferior mayo, but it is what it is. So I'm not really giving you guys like exact quantities here because this is more, you're looking for a specific, more of a texture. And that's going to be different depending on how much juice your lemon has in it, the brand of pesto you're using, the brand of mayo you're using. So all of those things together, I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm looking for here. So I'm also going to add a little bit of salt, just a little. That's really good. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of get close up here. Boop. So it is pretty soupy, but it's not too soupy. Like I'm sure I can get some to kind of stick to the Steelhead once we're ready to go. So that is the texture that we're looking for here. And you can also kind of see the color here too. So it is like a very, very light green. So you want the pesto to be prominent enough that it is a light green. One of the great things about you, my sous vide people, is I think I can count on you to not be afraid of mayo. I think that mayo is such a great way to kind of transport flavor, or as you all know, a great way to sear. And in this case, it's kind of doing both because it's finishing off just the top of that salmon for that great texture, but it's also helping me transport the flavor of pesto and lemon. So while it's finishing up, I'm just gonna prepare the sheet pan I'm gonna use to broil. So just sheet pan and foil. And now we wait. All right, Steelhead is done in the water bath. So going to take out this beautiful piece of fish. And as we do, pat dry with a paper towel. Okay, so I've got my foil lined baking sheet ready to go. Man, this is so pretty. It's so delicate. It's like kind of falling apart already. So I have to be really, really careful. Okay, this is gonna take some careful maneuvering, friends. There we go. There we go. You can kind of get a glimpse at how pretty before we top it off. So now I'm just going to spoon on this mayo mixture. So I'm gonna be pretty liberal with the mayo mixture here. And I'm gonna try to actually not spread too much because I'd love for it to kind of pool and be a really thick layer, and want to keep it all on top. So I'm just kind of filling in the nooks and crannies rather than spreading. Okay, so now we're gonna broil. So I'm gonna just watch this thing like a hawk. Everybody's broiler is gonna be a little bit different, but we're just looking for a little bit of golden brown here on the top. And your finished Steelhead with pesto lemon mayo. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen here today. It was so fun to hang out with you during this day of ISVA demos, and I hope to see you again soon. Make sure to check out my blog, aduxoven.com, and find me on Instagram at aduxoven.